Good morning and welcome to Business Insight. And of course, it's always amazing to be on your screen. I'm Adesua Iromosele. This is just a few days after Christmas, and of course, we are still in the euphoria of the season. However, we would be, retrospecting into how 2023 was for businesses in Nigeria, and we'll be touching on the topic, reviewing the biggest business successes and challenges in 2023. And to help discuss this topic, we have a guest who is joining us virtually. He is Dr. Olusaye Ajuwon, and he is an economics lecturer at the University of Lagos. He'll be joining us shortly, right after this break. Do stay with us.
I'm okay.
My name is Raymond Bola Brown.
Hi, my name is Fred Amata, and you're on to Souq News.
If you are watching this channel for the first time, make sure you continue to watch it, because this is Souq News.
Shout out to Souq News. Actually, I don't know. I really enjoyed the little moment I spent with you, and I think with more of this.
Souq News. Here's the Souq News, who had the courage to transcend a locked-off camera and actually have a conversation with a human being. It's a pleasure, Souq News. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Blessing Daiche, anchor and exchange on Souq News. The beautiful season is here again.
I smell Christmas. Wow.
Ta-da! It's Christmas.
Christmas is a holiday where we celebrate the birth of Christ. It is a super celebration where we share love and many cheers.
Christmas, a time to make merry and show love. Spend time. Go out there and spend time with your family and friends and loved ones. I mean, you don't get to do that.
Let's get to the family.
She's so excited.
I can't wait to have my plate of rice and chicken.
We
wanna
wish you
a Merry Christmas. We wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. We wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of our heart.
I am Lady Sansa. Merry Christmas.
I'm Adesua Iromosele. I'm a presenter and anchor right here on Souq News. And I'm wishing you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Merry Christmas, have fun.
I am Osama Zaida Hosa, Femi Watched Limited owner of Souq News and Watch Radio. Wishing you a very wonderful Christmas. Christmas represents the incarnation of God, becoming man and showing us the greatest of love. It's a season to love one another. Show love to a brother out there and let the love move around.
Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year!
Welcome back. You're still watching Business Insight, and we're discussing, 2023 in retrospect with regards to the success and challenges faced by businesses in Nigeria in 2023. And of course, we know that there's been a whole lot of factors, that has occurred. We are talking about, mixed performances, talking about growth, challenges, challenges such as inflation, currency instability, infrastructural limitation, and global economic shutdown. These are some of the challenges experienced in 2023. And of course, this influenced, the success or failure of some businesses within the country. And of course, we also have uncertainties, talking about global slowdowns and domestic challenges, and the currency violation and potential policy missteps, and all of this really affected the Nigerian economy. And that's what we would be discussing today, just looking at 2023, in retrospect, everything that occurred in the business domain, as at 2023. And our guests Mr. Olusheye Ajuwon, who is an economics lecturer at the University of Lagos, and he is joining us virtually. Good morning and welcome to the show, Mr. Ajuwon.
Good morning, and thank you for having me this morning.
Right. Thank you, and compliments of the season.
Wishing you the same.
Okay, now, Mr. Ajuwon, let's look at 2023. You know, how would you say Nigeria, the Nigerian economy fared, you know, given the fact that we had a change in administration, you know, this year, and, you know, of course, it came with so many challenges and so many, you know, policy changes. You know, how would you say we have fared business-wise in the nation?
To actually talk about 2023, you have to look at it from before 2023. For instance, if I don't want to really go further than, I will start from 2022. If you remember well, in 2022, around September or October, thereabout, all the international flights threatened that by December, they are going to stop flying Nigeria routes. And if you look at it, why did they say that? It's because, you know, altogether they have over 640 or $680 million that they have not been able to repatriate from selling flight tickets, you know, in Nigeria. And, you know, the government had to start scrambling to look for how to shall pay something so that, you know, the air flight can continue flying Nigeria flight. Then when we also look at the issue of fuel, we realize that the price at the international level has risen so much that Nigeria government was now borrowing so much, you know, just to make sure that we continue to have supply of petrol at the filling station. And, you know, the government then started shouting that all these things are not sustainable. The moment you start borrowing for consumption, and, you know, because definitely borrowing for consumption means your income is not enough. That's why you are borrowing. And if you are borrowing for consumption, the problem is how will you pay back? Because you are not investing what you are borrowing. And you are borrowing, you know, on what was not sustainable. So the problem is how will you pay back? So these are the two, you know, major problems that we brought into 2023. And if we look further down, we realize that the whole problem is world over, which started by the COVID-19, you know, started 2019, but became a world problem in the year 2020. So production was shut down worldwide for months. And that was a serious problem. And as we are trying to get out of COVID-19, you know, to see how we can, you know, start moving on, start producing and all those things, then Russia decided to, well, don't let me put it this that way. Let me say the Russia and Ukraine decided to start a conflict, which now affected, you know, the world over. And that's what the world is still grappling with. And unfortunately, just October 7th this year again, Hamas decided to, you know, carry out another operation on Israel. That one is escalating now because, you know, what I read this one is that this body, Hezbollah, whatever they call themselves, you know, have started, you know, attacking Israel. So it's going to be a bloody war that can consume the whole of Arab world if care is not taken. Now let's now come back to Nigeria and see, you know, how the economy fared. So coming into the 2023 with those two factors of not able to sustain petrol consumption with the price we were, you know, getting it in the country then, as well as not having much of production to cater for our imports, because majorly there are two major sources of foreign exchange in Nigeria, and that is remittances, and crude oil. Unfortunately, if we remember well, last year, 2022, the crude oil production, Nigeria production almost came to a standstill, zero, because the bulk of the production are being siphoned, bunkering and all those things was taking over the oil production in the Niger Delta region, that it got to a point that if government refused to do something drastically about it, the country was about to sink. And, it's so embarrassing that the Nigerian government have to go and contract, indigenous, what's it called? When we have army, we have air force, we have navy, we have civil defense, we have police, so many security outfits, and yet we have to resort to local contractors to dislodge bunkering going on in the Niger Delta. And thank God, so that is how some exchange rates started coming in from that end. So basically, if it is remittances, the foreign exchange coming in through remittances cannot cater for much of our import demands in this country. Nigeria is such a consuming economy. We are not producing anything. We just depend on importation of oil. And what people don't realize is it's not just having naira to buy these imported goods, because imported goods is not bought in naira, it's bought in foreign exchange. And that you have naira to pay for it is not naira that they are going to pay for it where it's coming from. So government have to look for foreign exchange to pay for all these things. And to save Nigeria, when this current government came in, the two things they did was, one, they had to remove subsidy on the petrol to ensure that the country will not sink. And that way it will relieve government of subsidizing the oil that they cannot maintain, because where will the income come from? Then number two, the liberalizing of the exchange rate, so that the importation will reduce. All these things are what is causing the hardship that we're experiencing now. But it is a necessity that must occur, and earlier than when it happened. But thank God, at least we've started. And we believe when most of these things that we are importing, when it is no more within our reach, then we will resort to local production of all these things. It's so bad that even some people are importing pure water to drink. To speak, we are not producing anything and want to be living a kind of life that is not sustainable. So that is what has put us where we are now. And I believe with time, most of these things we are importing, when we cannot afford them again, then we'll start looking inward and see how those things can be locally produced.
Products, and we don't completely import everything. Okay, we still produce things like footwear, textiles, cement, fertilizers, and some other products like that. But how would you say the new administration's policies? Of course, 2023 was the year that ushered in the new administration of leadership in the nation. Now, how would you say the most of the policies that were enacted, how would you say they have impacted businesses within the country?
For now, if nobody is going to lie, the policies are not making things easier, but they are necessary policies. And when I'm talking about the policies, I'm talking about two major things. One, the removing of the subsidy on petrol and the liberalization of the dollars. Those two things, when it was undertaken, it is long overdue, but thank God, it has been implemented. And I think, the near future will be far, far better than, because we've been living a kind of life that we cannot sustain. And that's the reality. It's like somebody earning 100 naira and you are living on 250 naira. So where is the 150 going to come from? When you continue to borrow to get to a point where nobody will be ready to borrow you anything again, then you realize that you have to cut your life to the 100 naira you are earning instead of living 250 naira when you are earning 100 naira. Now the problem is, how are you going to pay back all the 150 naira that you have been living over above your income? Until you finish that, life will be very, very tough. So those are the situations we are witnessing now.
Would you also say that this new policies, helped in any way to address some of the challenges we have plaguing our economy here in Nigeria?
Yes, it is the best thing that should happen for now. Because if those policies didn't come in when they came in, I'm sure by now would have gone bankrupt. And if you had gone bankrupt, World Bank would have taken over, just like what is happening in Ghana now. World Bank would have taken over. And those policies that are in place now would still have been, what we would have started experiencing. It's better that we are the one, putting the policy in place, because, we can review, we can, moderate and all those things, change it. But if it has been World Bank, we have no choice. And, what World Bank will do is they will take over all our debt, pay it back, and with higher interest rates. So, but now, we are able to meet all our loans demand, our paying back of our credits, without necessarily having to pay extra interest rate that would have been, put on the economy if somebody else has taken over the loan. So it's a good thing. And we thank God that it is from us that this is coming, not from any other international monetary body. So it is a direction. It is an economy in the right direction, so to say.
Now, Dr. Ajuwon, what challenges would you highlight as the major issues that plagued businesses this year? What factors? And of course, despite the fact that we had all of these issues, there were still some businesses that thrived in 2023. So what were the challenges with regards to businesses in Nigeria, and how would you say some of these businesses that were successful, how would you say they were able to navigate and ensure that they still came out strong?
Actually, most of the production in Nigeria are depending on raw materials imported, and any outfit, any factory or any production that needs raw materials from abroad, will find it difficult to survive this year. Why? Because the foreign exchange was really, really high. For instance, the foreign exchange officially used to be around 370. Now it's around 900 naira now, so which is like almost times 3. So that alone is a huge problem by itself. But any firm that is doing well are the ones that are sourcing their raw materials locally. So if you are sourcing your materials locally, there is no reason for you not to do well. Then another problem with our manufacturing in Nigeria, which has been the problem all along, is the issue of electricity. There is no way a manufacturing firm will do well, without power, electricity. And if you have to be the one generating your electricity, using generator, we all know that the price of petroleum product has risen up as well. So it will be difficult for any manufacturing firm to actually do well, when you are the one providing or generating your own energy, electricity by yourself. So these are the critical issues, that makes the manufacturing firms not to be doing well now. So if the country can spend so much on electricity to ensure that we have constant supply of electricity in the country, then I think things will start getting better. Because when we look at most of the raw materials that are being sourced from abroad, there are some that can be sourced locally, but because it is easier to get them outside the country than from within the country, most of the manufacturing firms decided to be patronizing imported raw materials as against locally sourcing for their raw materials.
Okay, now what innovations do you think were utilized in 2023, to basically revolutionize, the manufacturing industry?
No, nothing has really been vertical, but we all know that I can't remember to say this properly. When you are suffering, you will put up your thinking cap. When you realize that, oh, I rather do something or I will be destroyed, then your thinking cap will definitely come on. And that is what I believe these policies that have been put in place is going to bring out of Nigeria. Because in the place of hardship, there is always a way out. Because all the problems we are facing now, most of the things that we are imported, look at so many of these foreign companies cannot survive again, and they are closing shops. As they are closing shops, definitely some local manufacturing firms are taking over. The LP is going, the Liver Brothers, they are going. We know what all these companies are producing. So some local firms have started taking over. For instance, the detergents in Nigeria, most of and bathing soaps, all these things are being produced by all these foreign firms. But as they are leaving now, I'm sure Nigeria, domestically produced firms that have been producing these things will just, take over, and that will be better for Nigeria, because that's what we've been saying all along. Almost 90% of what we are consuming in this country are imported. So that's why we are being called a consuming economy, and it is not good for us. How can we just be consuming instead of producing? What we are consuming, is it not some people that are producing them? So we are so intelligent, we are so hardworking, and yet we are just comfortable to be living some kind of life that is not sustainable in this country. So all these policies, will force it on us to start, doing the right thing in this country.
Now, would you also, how would you basically speak to governmental policies? Of course, we have talked about this before, but could you highlight some of the policies that helped, the manufacturing industry do better in 2023?
Well, there are no policies, that the government put in place that have helped the manufacturing sector in 2023. What majorly I would have loved the government to do is to ensure that, they increase the electricity generation in this country. Because when we look at the capacity we have in this country, I think it's still around 30,000 megawatts. At this level, we shouldn't be generating less than 100,000 megawatts in this country. So anything less than that, and it's not an easy task to jump from 30,000 megawatts to 100,000 megawatts. But I think this is what government should be targeting now. Anything below 100,000 megawatts we've not started. So to still be generating 30,000 megawatts now for a country of over 220 million, it speaks a lot of volume, about what is happening in Nigeria. And secondly, another area that government should concentrate on is in the area of security in this country. Once anywhere that security is not in place, there can't be economic progress in that area. So all the kidnapping, terrorism, fighting going on in the north, government should, face it squarely and ensure that as much as is possible, peace and tranquility should be restored to this country. The third major area I will talk about is in the area of transportation, the road transport network, the train. The previous administration did a lot in that area, but we still need a lot to be done. I see no reason why we can't be traveling from Lagos to Abuja, by train. They've taken it from Lagos to Oyo State, Ibadan. If this administration can take it, even if it is to Kwara State or whatever, but they should extend it, And if it is possible, if they can take it to Abuja, fine. There is Abuja to Kaduna, and there is Benin to Abuja as well. So this, should continue. And, when we look at the road, for instance, now, look at Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. They've been on that road for more than 13 years now. But thank God, at least this last administration have successfully taken it from Lagos to Ibadan. So, but there is still, the ending part. I think I traveled last weekend, and up to Iwo Road, the road was okay. But from Iwo Road to Ojo, there's still, work to be done on that. And I think it's less than 10 kilometers to finish the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Then we also have the Shagam or Rebini Expressway. A lot has been done, but the Jebu side of the road, I think much still needs to be done on that part of the express. So road construction, generally transportation, not only roads, the rail, the water, and I love this present administration. We have now have a ministry now that has to do with the blue economy, everything that has to do with water, rivers, and things like that. So I'm sure the transport, water transportation will be given a lot of attention under this administration.
All right. Now, would you say that manufacturing, companies or establishments experienced some kind of shortage of labor? Talking about workforce management. Do you think they suffered that challenge this 2023 year?
Yes, every establishment in Nigeria is actually suffering from labor shortage this year. And what led to that is the Japa syndrome. Everybody just lost hope in this country, and everybody is running out. In fact, it's so bad for some establishments, especially the financial sector, the education sector. We lost a lot of manpower this year, and it affected the production. In my department now, on the average, a lecturer is doing like 3 lecturers' work, and we have been shouting we need, to employ more lecturers, which has not happened up till now. So we are really, really stressed, really, really stressed. And, I know those in the financial sector too, you just realize that the world over, they need, our gurus, especially the financial technology aspect of the work. So all these Japa syndromes has affected the manufacturing sector. I might not be able to say categorically the way it's affected them, but I know even in church, you see workers, that the pastor relies on, traveling out of the country and giving the pastor, maybe in some cases, after they've gotten to where they are going, they will just, communicate alike. And establishment. I knew of a director of a company that said he had to call on, please, if anybody wants to travel, let me know so that we can plan. Everybody listened to you, and they didn't see anything. Only for another person, maybe like a week later, tender letter of resignation. So it's so bad when it comes to labor force in the country. And up till now, all manufacturing sector, are bearing the brunt of Japa in the country.
That's indeed sad, but we'll go on a quick break now, Dr. Ajuwon. And when we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Please stay with us.
I'm okay.
My name is Raymond Bola Brown.
Hi, my name is Fred Amata, and you are on to Souq News.
If you are watching this channel for the first time, make sure you continue to watch it, because this is Souq News.
Shout out to Souq News. Actually, I don't know. I really enjoyed the little moment I spent with you, and I think with more of this.
Souq News. Here's the Souq News, who had the courage to transcend a locked off camera and actually have a conversation with a human being. It's a pleasure, Souq News. Thank you very much.
Let us also give thanks for Jesus, because Jesus is the reason for this whole season. It's also the reason why we have hope that as we journey into the new year, it will not be in vain, and that things will get better.
This Christmas, I'm joining this unit in wishing Nigerians, wherever they are, saying to them, Merry Christmas.
The church is wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, a happy and prosperous New Year.
I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance.
I wish everybody in Nigeria Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. God bless Nigeria. God bless everybody.
Have a good Christmas. Have a Merry Christmas. I wish you all the best.
My greetings go first to the President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his wife, Senator Remi Tinubu. As we celebrate Christmas, I want to greet the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Oba of Lagos, and his traditional chiefs, the Catholic Bishop of Lagos, Dr. Adewale Martins, and all Nigerians. I wish you all a very happy Christmas. Eko ni baje o, eku odun, eku yedun.
My name is Dr. Rafiu Oladipo.
My name is Baba Jalal Repega.
I'm Reverend Julia Benite.
I'm Godio Didi.
My name is Professor Oladokun Sulaiman Olarawaju.
Souq News is on the ground, loading.
Very enlightening, very educative, and entertaining.
Thank you to Souq News.
So I'm happy that Souq TV has come into existence.
I'm happy to be here in the Souq News.
I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and keep watching news that makes sense.
As Browning said, one's extension of one's reach should not exceed one's grasp, or what is heaven for? And I think Souq News is doing that.
Africa needs a voice of truth, and Souq News has become one of them. And get ready, get ready, get ready.
And keep watching.
Keep watching Souq News.
Keep watching Souq News. It's a place to be.
Keep watching.
Hi, I'm Blessing Naiche, anchor and exchange on Souq News. The beautiful season is here again.
I smell Christmas. Wow.
Ta-da! It's Christmas.
Christmas is a holiday where we celebrate the birth of Christ. It is a super celebration where we share love and many cheers.
Christmas, a time to make merry and show love. Spend time. Go out there and spend time with your family and friends and loved ones. I mean, you don't get it every time.
I want to get to see the family.
She's so excited.
I can't wait to have my plate of rice and chicken.
We wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. We wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. We wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of our hearts.
I am Lady Sansa. Merry Christmas.
I'm Adesiwa Iremosele. I'm a presenter and anchor right here on Souq News. And I'm wishing you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Merry Christmas. Have fun.
I am Osama Zaida Hosa, Femi Watch Limited owner of Souq News and Watch Radio. Wishing you a very wonderful Christmas. Christmas represents the incarnation of God, becoming man and showing us the greatest of love. It's a season to love one another. Show love to a brother out there and let the love move around.
Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year!
All right, you're still watching Business Insight, and we've been discussing the biggest business successes and challenges of 2023 in retrospect. What were the challenges we had in business? We actually streamlining it to the manufacturing sector. What have been the challenges, encountered in the manufacturing sector? And we've been able to highlight a couple of them. And we've been talking with a guest, Dr. Olusegun Ajowan, and he is an economics lecturer at the University of Lagos. And he highlighted something really crucial. That's the lack of manpower, talking about the Jackpot syndrome. Everyone seems to be leaving the country even without notice to their employers, and this is one of the major challenges, when we're talking about workforce management in the manufacturing sector. And of course, there's been a whole lot, given the fact that there's been a change of power, change of administration, and that of course came with lots of changes in policies, and this has, basically impacted the manufacturing sector in one way or the other. And yes, so this is a topic we're still discussing, and our guest, Dr. Olusegun Ajowan, is on standby, and of course, so we'll just go ahead of the show till he is able to join us. So of course, the next issue will be, can we actually talk about implementation of some policies in the manufacturing sector? How were these policies implemented? Because despite the fact that we have some companies that didn't really do so well in the manufacturing sector in 2023, we still have others, that actually thrived. So what did those companies do differently to ensure that despite all the ups and downs and challenges experienced in Nigeria, they were still able to, come out strong? So, so I hear that our guest is back, and of course, Dr. Ajowan, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
Still being with us. All right, so now let's look at the aspect of innovation, technology. What technological innovations would you highlight as one of the major, mediums through which the manufacturing sector has actually thrived in 2023?
When you look at the innovations that is happening in Nigeria, I would say majorly the fintech is the leading aspect of the innovations we are having now, because so many people that are unbanked before or that doesn't have access to credit now have access to credit now. Then on the manufacturing side, the 5G technology, which is the fifth generation, is has a lot of advantage to the manufacturing sector. But that is if we started, taking advantage of all the potentials that the 5G network has to offer. Because I doubt three companies have been licensed, to have 5G, and that is MTN, Airtel, and I think it's the provider of is it Swift or Smart. Shall know three of them, have obtained the license to provide 5G network in Nigeria, and so far I can't see much difference between what 5G is doing in Nigeria now and what 4G is doing. So, but I believe with time, because the infrastructure needed to have a seamless 5G in Nigeria, I don't think it's complete yet. So, but it is something that with time, so many sectors, not only the manufacturing sector, will benefit from the 5G network.
Okay, so now how would you say the manufacturing sector has helped when it comes to job creation? Because that is, of course, one of our biggest challenges here in Nigeria. How would you say the manufacturing sector helped in job creation in 2023?
When it comes to job creation, I won't say manufacturing sectors did well, because everything that is happening in Nigeria now is like, we're on the downturn. So if you look at the output, the only output I can, see that it's maybe higher that I'm noticing is agricultural output, because I can see a lot of yam in the market, can see a lot of plantain in the market, at least those two products. Then I can also see that the production of garri has increased lately. So those aspects I can see, outputs, a noticeable increase in the output of these three products that I've mentioned. But when you look at their manufacturing overall, I think I would rather say that the output is even lower than it was before this year. So definitely, it takes higher output to create more employment. So if there is any employment going on in the country, it is basically because of the Japa syndrome. So as so many people are leaving, for those manufacturing firms to continue working, they have to recruit other new people to take over the spaces of what, those that have Japa left behind.
Okay, so now, of course, we are looking into 2023 to ensure that most of these challenges or mistakes made in 2023 are not repeated in 2024. So, what strategies would you advise manufacturers to put in place to ensure that they can overcome the challenges like we had them in 2023, come 2024?
The manufacturing firms themselves, they can't be sleeping now. So definitely, they are thinking right. And if there's anything I will say, there's nothing I can say that they don't know. But what I will say, because I'm on the air, is that most of the raw materials that are being sourced from abroad, all manufacturing firms should start looking at how these raw materials can be sourced for locally. The way things are now, any manufacturing firm that depends on imported raw materials will find it very, very hard to continue to be in existence. basically because of, the way things are. Because, the problem that has been solved, the exchange rate that has risen, has not really solved the problem. We've not been able to increase the inflow of foreign exchange. And once the foreign exchange inflow has not increased, to meet with demand of the foreign exchange will still be a serious problem. So it's not just that the exchange rate that Naira has depreciated, it is also not easy to come by those foreign exchange, which people need to understand. And if that is the case, then most of the things that were imported, we should start looking at them and sourcing for them locally. Another example of what people are doing is, we are destroying our own educational sector, and flying all our children abroad to go and school abroad is at the detriment of our own nation, detriment of at our own economy. Well, you see, I can't blame anybody for doing that if you have the money. But the truth is this: these days, even if you have the money, except you have it in foreign currency, in hard currency, if not, to even socks, if you have the money to even get that foreign exchange to pay the children's school fees, it's not easy now. So all these things will force us to start looking inward and see, what we can do. All the education that we are going abroad, to look for. Is it that we don't have institutions here in Nigeria? If you say you don't want the government schools, the federal universities, because of the strikes and all the sort, we have so many private schools that can give, what you can obtain anywhere. We have Covenant universities, we have Afe Babalola University. Go to the north, so many universities are doing beautifully well. You don't have to start flying your children abroad, and be pressurizing the economy, to educate your children. These are the issues that we start looking at. In Unilag, where I'm lecturing, we are trying our best to ensure that, we give the best, one. Then number two, that we have a seamless operation. We believe that going forward, government will give us, and they've started giving us, the enabling environment that will not make us to be going on strike, to drive home our demands.
Would you also say that there is need for manufacturing agencies or establishments to collaborate with other sectors to ensure more productivity and efficiency?
Yes, and that's one of the opportunities that this 5G network provided, that companies, even not within the country, across the country, can collaborate, networking and, share ideas so that, efficiency can increase and productivity can increase as well.
Thank you very much, Dr. Oluseyi Ajuwon. We would like your final thoughts before we round off the show.
Okay, my advice to Nigerians is we need to understand that things are very, very tough now. And please don't blame anybody. If there's anybody to be blamed, blame yourself. Because what is happening in Nigeria is cumulative effect of all that we have brought this country to. So stop blaming anybody. And if you want to blame anybody, just blame yourself. And we should start looking at what can we do to make this country great instead of blaming anybody. All this blame game in the government, whatever, it's not about the government. Everything that is happening, it is cumulative effect. It's just that government is supposed to provide the road to take. And they are doing so. And the way they are doing, are we supporting them? So we need to stop the game blame and face the reality of the way things are in Nigeria. And let's move forward. Let's make this country great together. Thank you.
All right, you heard it. Let's come together and make the country great again. Thank you very much, Dr. Olushege Ajonwa, for joining us on Business Insight today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and that's the size of the show. Business Insight makes a return tomorrow for an even more in-depth conversation. I'm Adesua Ramosele. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye for now.